Let's begin with the changing of the guard at the top of the National Party. An unscheduled media conference at 11:30, his family there, and then Bill English briefly fighting back tears, calling time on a parliamentary career spanning more than quarter of a century. After weeks of speculation, the former Prime Minister and long-serving Finance Minister announced he's resigning, effective in 2 weeks' time. He says he's looking forward to spending more time with his family and not answering questions from the media. He does answer some questions from me later in the programme. Attention now turns to his successor, which the party's caucus will need to have in place when he formally resigns in a fortnight. Here's our Deputy Political Editor, Chris Bramwell.
Flanked by his wife Mary and 3 of his 6 children, Bill English carefully poured himself a glass of water before he began speaking.
After careful consideration and talking things over with my family, I've decided that now is the right time for me to step aside and from the leadership of the National Party and embark on new personal and professional challenges. Therefore, I've informed the National Caucus this morning that I'm resigning as leader of the National Party and will leave Parliament.
This time around, Bill English was leaving on his own terms, unlike in 2003 when he was rolled from the national leadership after he led the party to its worst defeat in the 2002 election. But in his own words, he got back up again and went on to be John Key's number 2 and won plaudits for his economic stewardship as Finance Minister in the wake of the global financial crisis. Bill English led National to a strong result at last year's election, but did not win the support of New Zealand First, which he needed to form a government. So today, facing another 3 years in opposition, it was time to bow out. Through tears, he thanked his family.
Through all our time together as a family, we have lived with the demands of public service. Your strength and tolerance has enabled my career. I now look forward to our new life together. Thank you.
There's been speculation about the National Party leadership for several weeks, though much of the focus has been on the Deputy Paula Bennett. Bill English is not anointed a successor as John Key did when he resigned in 2016, and he will not be endorsing anyone.
I'll just have a vote like everyone else in the process, and I expect I might enjoy them coming to ask me for it. After years of having to go and ask other people for their votes.
So what's next for the man who first entered Parliament in 1990?
You know, a life outside politics, personal and business opportunities. I'd like to be able to work with my family. We have a lot of interests in common, Mary and the children, and I'm pretty open to all those opportunities.
Bill English will formally resign on February the 27th and will give his valedictory speech to Parliament on March the 1st. National's Deputy Leader Paula Bennett says today is tinged with sadness for the National Party caucus. She says Bill English has incredible mana.
He has led us so incredibly well and done such a great job with us. So we're going to miss him and miss him a lot. And I just don't think New Zealand will ever fully appreciate just the depth of his thinking, everything that he's given to them. We're just so proud to have had him as our leader.
Nick Smith entered Parliament at the same time as Bill English and is the only other member of the so-called Brat Pack, as they were dubbed back then, who remains an MP. He says Bill English will be missed.
In my view, Bill is one of New Zealand's great parliamentarians. Few people have worked both in the sort of finance economy areas as well as social services like health that in my view brought a really unique sort of perspective of how government can do both well.
The Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says Mr English has made an enormous contribution to Parliament and New Zealand.
Very few people have served at the level that he has, a Minister of Finance, Deputy Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition. To serve at that level for as long as he did and still have the respect of so many people, I think says a lot about him.
Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters was not quite as forthcoming with the praise.
I think he's the person that sort of stabilised things under a very flighty leader called John Key, that did the hard yard, so to speak. But in the end, if you look at the concretisation of wealth in so fewer hands in that period of time, this cannot be regarded as a period of success economically.
While no one has yet put their names forward for the leadership team, last time the vacancies came up, Simon Bridges, Jonathan Coleman and Judith Collins were all keen. Amy Adams' name has also come up as a potential contender. There are just 2 weeks until Mr English is off, so the candidates are expected to announce their intentions pretty swiftly. Atu i te whare pāri mata mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi nei, ko Chris Bramalaho.